Hi, this is Dirt Farmer Maggie. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, coffee. I'm a huge coffee drinker and I've always drank my coffee hot. Well, my friend Rob, who happens to be behind the camera this morning, is a cold brew drinker. And Starbucks has come out with a coffee that is cold brew with cold foam. And Rob has figured out how to make that foam at home, save himself a whole lot of greenbacks, not going to Starbucks all the time. So what we have done is we have made our own cold brew, and I'm going to show you how to top it off with the foam. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we made this cold brew. Take a look. So you're going to need some kind of a gallon container. So you can use a gallon jar or you can use a gallon pitcher. You'll need a full pound of coffee grounds, and you may or may not want to put your grounds inside a cheesecloth bag that you're going to make by tying it around the grounds, just to give yourself a little less work to strain the grounds at the end. You can put your cheesecloth into a larger bowl, cut it big enough so that it hangs over the sides of the bowl, then pour your grounds into the middle, and then just pull the corners up and tie them around the grounds so that you have a pretty tight bag that will contain the grounds while they're floating around in the water. Next, you just put your bag of grounds or just dump the whole bag of your loose grounds into the bottom of the pitcher, fill it all the way to the top with water, and put the lid on it. Once you have the grounds and the water in your container, you're going to want to set a timer for 2 hours, because at 2 hours you're going to either stir the pitcher if you've got loose grounds, or sort of push the bag up and down a little bit into the pitcher of water if you've got a bag. The full timing for the cold brew is 20 hours. So set yourself some kind of alarm or timer so that you know to come back at 20 hours and remove the grounds. And now you're ready to enjoy your first cup of cold brew. So once your cold brew is made, and as you could see from the photos we showed you, we put the grounds into a bag into this pitcher. So it's been our 20 hours, and I'm going to get this grounds out of here. Of course, it's going to go in the compost pile according to Dirt Farmer Jay's rules. And now we need to strain all the grounds that have accumulated in here out of there. So I have a French press, which works really well. So we're going to just strain out enough in order to show you 1 cup. Of course, you're going to want to strain all the grounds out of this before you brew it, before you store it in your fridge. So I'm just going to push this down kind of slow, not to stir things up. And now those grounds are all trapped under there, and we'll get some clean coffee. So what I'm going to do is pour some coffee into this glass, making sure we don't get any grounds. It looks good. I'm going to put in a couple of ice cubes, so it's going to be chilling it down nice. And now we're going to go to the magic of the cold foam. So if you're like me, I watch carbs a lot, and I know a lot of people do and have to for health reasons. So there's a couple different ways you can do the foam. We've tried both and they both work. But if you want to do a low carb version, you can use a syrup that's sugar-free, because the syrup doesn't really make a big difference. And you can use half and half, which only has 1 gram of carbohydrates for every 2 tablespoons. So that's quite well as opposed to the skim milk that has 13 carbs in a cup. So one of the main things I've learned is that you need to have a curved blade on your immersion blender. If you have the little straight blade, it's not going to froth up the milk correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and put some, this is skim milk. So this is the non-fat version of milk. Put some in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in this syrup. You can use any kind of syrup you want. You can use regular maple syrup. This happens to be a vanilla. The syrup doesn't really matter. It's just to taste. So I'm going to put some syrup in there to give it a little sweetness. Put that on. And attach my immersion blender. And here we go. let's check that and see how that did. Ooh, that looks really nice. So you can see that it's nice and frothy. And we're just gonna pour it in slowly into the cold brew. It's gonna lay right on top there and give you all kinds of numminess. And you can see it starting to slowly melt down into the coffee. And there you have it. Starbucks cold brew at home. Cheers.